This is Zeta Zhang. Make sure you subscribe to According to Woods YouTube.
Oh, wrong What's good, party people? I'm According to Woods, and I ran the wrong promo. I ran the end at the beginning, and that's funny. And I'm glad that we start off with this kind of light kind of tone because what we're about to tackle, not the most light, not the most light-hearted of stories, but we're going to be tackling the Kris Kanyon's episode of Darkside of the Ring, and with me is wrestling impresario. She is the what is it? The major domo of Fierce Females, Glasgow. She is the Japanese tenured, the Mae Young Classic alumnus. She is BigFemVader Ayesha Raymond.
And today, Woods just proved he swallowed a dictionary. Thank you so much for that amazing introduction.
It's I would I've described you so many other things. I don't think I went to the well with that one. So I kind of, Brian Pillman, the Thorsaurus, like in the back of the car, in those deals. I mean, imagine you have Brian Pillman, Mick Foley, and Steve Austin in a car, and they're all mid Carters in WCW, and Austin and Pillman are a team of the Hollywood Blondes. That's a retake on what is it? Fucking a team from the 50s. I think Buddy Roberts from the Freebirds was like one half of the original Hollywood Blondes. You know, yeah. So I don't know. I went down a wrestling wormhole there.
So tangent, he was gone.
Yeah, no, and I could actually say the words too, which is cool too, because for a large part of this last 6 weeks, I I haven't been able to. So that's a cool thing too.
That's
You know?
true. He can
Yeah.
speak now. He's alive, and now we're about to dive into another rabbit hole.
Oh yeah, man. This one,
Eat
Kris
my protein
Canyon.
shake.
Yes. Oh, please do. You might need it, but I'm not going to attempt to pronounce his last name, but Kris Canyon, as he was known in the wrestling industry, just an incredible talent. Uh, I didn't know there was so much that I got from it that I didn't know about Canyon. I knew about his depression, his bipolar disorder, and what have you, his friendship with DDP, but I didn't know that it ever got acrimonious. I had always believed that they were friends till the end, you know, and I not until this documentary did I find out the kind of the truth of the matter. Yeah, it's just a sad story. Chris Canyon, the wrestling, whatever, but the guy behind it was a closeted gay male, right? In a hugely macho, you
Frat
know,
boy world,
yeah, absolutely, and
unfortunately.
right, absolutely. So that's on the wrestling deal, and then the fact that he's from Brooklyn or somewhere in New York. New York, they're a very strong people. Joe Rogan often says like, was raised in Boston, and he says like there's something that if you're braced with cold, it's something that it does to people. That it's a very strong stock of people. That people like in California that might not have four seasons might not be able to kind of go through and have to suffer through. To be able, your damn car is snowed in and you have to go out and go to work and there's no, unless there's a snow day that the whole town shuts down, like you're expected to go to work and school. California, we don't have that. Earthquake happens,
Britain's the same.
something could happen in another state, and we're like, oh no, we're good, we're good.
Britain's the same.
Yeah.
Like this documentary taught me a lot. Like my first kind of opening to Canyon was when he came back during the invasion. For me personally, I didn't watch him a lot before. I knew about the other characters, I knew about the other roles he did have, but who better than Canyon was just like the Redrick of my teenage years for some reason. The catchphrase alone was enough to kind of draw people in. And for me, because he was a bigger guy who was able to actually do a lot of things that he wasn't supposed to do, or in the eyes of the big person wrestling wasn't physically capable of doing. He was that another Nash, another Amazon, another Hamada, another one of those big archetypal kind of strong wrestlers that could actually be extremely athletic. I mean, to see him do a moonsault and the height that he used to get, that popped me every time. And to know that he was struggling so much behind the scenes, especially with this documentary, it kind of just it made me really sad that
Yeah, it's
yeah.
so I kind of, my first kind of, I guess, introduction to Canyon, and I didn't know it was Canyon at the time. It was through his Mortis character, because I loved the shit out of Glacier at that time. I was, playing Mortal Kombat and everything, and it was like,
Mortal Kombat was cool. Glacier was not cool.
fuck that.
Glacier was not cool. You didn't play Mortal Kombat. That's proof that you didn't play it. If you thought
No,
Glacier was
see, here's the thing. I never thought it was a direct ripoff of Mortal Kombat, right? And like until later, like Glacier was supposed to be Sub-Zero theoretically, but I thought Glacier was cool on his own, and I was one who kind of this is this had to be after no, because I was gonna say it was after. For some whatever reason, I was not watching the WWF at that time consistently, right? Like the Monday Night Wars and whatever. Like I think at the time of Mortis's character, like WCW was still atop in that 83 weeks, So with that all being said, like I just like I mean, I watched the fucking WCW Saturday nights. I watched everything that WCW had. So for me, like, and then there was a time that I wasn't, and then Canyon was here. Oh shit! It sounded like a car crash. Holy fuck! It sounded like Mick Foley's theme music. But anyway, so basically, I'm watching either like WCW Worldwide or Nitro. I can't remember the show, but here comes Canyon without the mask, without James Vander. I forgot what they called him, but ended up becoming the Sinister Minister in ECW and what have you. He comes without him, but he's wearing. I mean, he's kind of like in his hand. He has the Mortis gimmick, and I was just like, huh, okay. Like I must have missed a week where whatever, but it could also been WCW booking where there was no continuity and he just walks out in jeans and the mask in his hand and whatever the fuck. But I loved him, and some of the archival footage, I forgot how good Kris Kanyon was. I knew he was good, but like how fucking great he was. Like one of my favorite moves in all of wrestling today is Hangman Page's the buckshot lariat. Okay, I like it. For me, I like it.
I like the stylistics of the move, but I'm just like,
Yeah, yeah. So for me, so Canyon was doing buckshot lariats in '97. Of course, it was awkward and fumbly or whatever, but like he was still doing him. And it was just like how creative he was, right? And to me, talk about like missed opportunities, right? Like all the shit, what Ric Flair said about Canyon on the fucking Howard Stern show. Who else? Taker. There's like there's a lot of people, whatever, and I'm all like, but you guys fucking justify Roman Reigns? Okay. Fuck you, man. Like really, fuck you.
what hurt the most was like Cena's comments. Hurt.
Yes, that was the other one.
Dude!
Not Taker, it was Cena. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, poor Taker. Very poor Taker. No.
I'm not going to say anything because a new project that I'm working with Thomas J. Albano from MMA Fight Prospects as well as Fansided on the Empty the Bench Network is a new show coming to you called A Rider in the Woods. And guests who follows are yet to be I mean, we haven't even posted any content yet on the Twitter space, right? But guess who
That's
follows
what it's-
us?
um, really? Is that a bot or is it real?
I don't know. I don't know. It's not because of me, for fucking sure. Because I've talked a lot of shit about. I've said a lot of good things about Cena, but I've also shitted on Cena a bit. So, I know it's not because of me. So I don't want to. That's the first verified check mark person that has followed a writer in the woods, which you can find on Twitter right now, and a subsequent podcast to follow. Cheap plug. But yeah, it's
I
just
know.
like, man, like I don't understand. I don't understand. Just like the whole, and of course there's like WCW not seeing anything on it, but definitely WWE, right? I got, I'm on a I put WWE on a timeout right now. I'm not watching any of it, even including NXT UK,
Have
including,
you sent WE to the corner?
huh?
You put
Yes,
WE in a corner.
this is the first time I've done such a thing since the Benoit tragedy. This is how bad it got because at Extreme Rules they did the spot with Balor where they fucking collapsed the rope, right? So again, these technical snafus, and yes, it would have been, it was cute when they did the superplex and the ring collapse and everything like that, but like, I mean, the referees in every time that they did that because they didn't clue them in, always got hurt. Mickey J, I think Charles Robinson for a time. Like the the referees ended up getting hurt, right? And Stephen Tatum says, "Don't get five knuckle shuffle, Adam." Cena reads all the ugly tweets. At least for Jimmy Kimmel, he does.
Or
So,
the bot reads all the ugly tweets. It's a bot. It's a
yeah,
bot.
okay, cool. But yeah, so they did this fucking spot, right? They do this spot with Balor, whether it was a botch, and again, to me, the WWE are liable because this is a major fucking pay per view, and you're not fucking fixing the ropes enough to make sure whatever. And how come in just this one fucking deal, how many people went to the fucking top rope, that same corner, the entire night, and it breaks for fucking Balor, somebody who fucking had all of his shit fucked up in a fucking weird bump that he took in his first Universal title reign, which he has to subsequently give up the day after, right? And then again, it's the way that shit looks, right? Again, you're a professional wrestler. You particularly, Aisha, are
Hi.
a stunt woman, right? But not every wrestler is a stunt woman, man, woman, whatever you identify as, right? So with that all being said, you know, yeah, it's Alex Ramirez. He kind of took the words out of my mouth. It's almost like WWE is intentionally dropping the bomb and making the audience tune into AEW NXT 2.0 this past Wednesday was horrible as all hell. As well, I should say. Yeah, so again, you're doing this spot, whether it was a botch or whether it was something that was conceived by creative control, right? Well, the same fucking pretenses were what you had with fucking Owen Hart. You didn't want him to fiddle around on TV, right? On pay-per-view, much like Balor, fiddle around with his harness. So you wanted a quick release shackle. How much research did you have on the fucking, the rigging team? They just said that they worked for Sting's repelling in WCW. They were like the third string motherfuckers, right? No due process. No due process at all. And Owen Hart loses his life. His life is left widowed. They're about to move into their dream house. There's no fucking income coming in. Again, I've read Brett's book. I love Brett, but you have to read Martha Hart's Broken Hearts to hear how Owen, when they pronounced him dead, because they had to cut off all the fucking gear that he had. He was on a slab in the Kansas City morgue with socks, nothing else. How undignified, right? And they do this shit with Balor. Fuck you, WWE. I don't care how you fucking justified it. Whatever. This is not. This is egregious, and this happens whether coincidentally or not. Monday before that Sunday pay-per-view, they announced that the Owen Hart Foundation is teaming up with AEW. This is the first time since 1999 that this is the first time ever that Martha Hart, who again, by all intents and purposes, hated pro wrestling, thought the Harts were lowbrow. She lived in the good side of town where the Harts lived in a reconvened, fucking Salvation Army triage, right? She's never liked wrestling. So this is unprecedented in two ways. Not only is she lending his intellectual property, his likeness to this, and we kind of saw it a little bit with, the deal with Pro Wrestling Tees to have Owen Hart merchandise for the first time since I think '97. Because there was no Blue Blazer merchandise. I think there was a figure. There's a figure, but also no T-shirts. I think Owen's last T-shirt was "Enough is enough," and it's time for a change in the back, right? And that came coincidentally around the time of Jeff Jarrett's, "Don't Piss Me Off," so about '97. So this is unprecedented, right? How you could kill Owen Hart but push Roman Reigns? You could what the fuck?
His brain's gonna explode, everyone.
You go push Kris Kanyon. I'm sorry. The blood is on their hands. And all their fucking tacky heads. The Cenas. The HBKs. The Ric Flairs. And look at Ric Flair. That's who you fucking get behind. Cool. And Ric Flair himself had to have some rehabbing when he gets out of WCW. And you pick him up. Right? But not everyone is applicable for the help that WWE is offering. Jake the Snake Roberts, where was his help? But Waltman got it. But Hall got it. So many guys and girls. Where was Sherry Martel's help? She died of an overdose. Why are they putting, what is it? Randy Savage posthumously in the Hall of Fame. They waited until he's dead. Okay? Heart attacks are sensitive to me, right? My dad died of a heart attack. My uncle died of a heart attack, right? It might be the way I succumb. I've pretty much got in my head aneurysm or heart attack. It's just my kind of genetics are rife for it, right? So Triple H having a heart attack, it sucks, right? But this is the same person who left Joni Lauer, China, right? And then China thinks because she drew enough money. It's corporatism, right? American corporatism, if it's nowhere else, right? Capitalist. She's like, I drew Vince so much money, he's going to whatever, and actually give a shit about me, even though my dude, my fiance, left me for his daughter. And she gets her walking papers. Where's China's help? And at the Hall of Fame, it's Paul Levesque, because he doesn't like being Triple H in those scenarios. He wants to be Paul Levesque, right? Well, here's the fucking thing. He's hugging Joni's mom and sister, who Joni hadn't talked to in 2 years prior to her death. Joni didn't talk to her mom almost at all. Didn't know her mom, right? So, and then the sister, and he's hugging them and going, we did it. Motherfucker, weren't you the one that when she had to do porn because she had no other fucking deals because you guys fucking cut her off of intellectual property and everything like that? Weren't you the one, oh, well, she's doing other type of entertainment. We got kids. Right? That's you guys, right? Same people that didn't want to fucking push Kanyon. You push whoever the fuck you want to. And it's your company, cool, whatever the fuck. But this is where we are. This is why a company like AEW that finally has fucking ammunition to, financial ammunition to go against WWE in ways that we thought Dixie Carter was able to do 10 years before. So that's why it's important Chris Kanyon didn't get the help, unfortunately. They and rather than do it, they did an almost Ultimate Warrior style smear campaign with two of wrestling's biggest stars of past in Ric Flair and present of Cena at the time that they made the comments about him, and had him, somebody who closeted gay man with fucking undiagnosed or maybe diagnosed and he kept it close to the vest bipolar disorder. Where was fucking Chris Canyon's help? Is what I'm saying. Where was Owen Hart? He did that because they wanted him to do a fucking what is it, cheating angle with Deborah and Jeff Jarrett, and he refused that, and they put him in the fucking doghouse and put his back up against the wall, and not saying that he would be fired, but look at what happened to his brother. But also, Owen was kind of happy that Owen, Davey, and fucking Anvil left to WCW because he could be out of their shadow. There was a certain creative pride that he had about that happening, right? That he wasn't synonymous. He could be his own person. And they fucking kill him. Okay? Yeah. Yeah, bad decision making. Bad decision making and bad taste, in my opinion, said Steve Tatum. And Alex Ramirez says, I'm 32 years old and I was born into the wrestling world thanks to my mom and my brother. And I feel as I reached a point where wrestling does nothing for me anymore, although it's quite sad, I'm okay with it. You know, yes, ask your take on wrestling change as of late, Adam or Vader. So, like, what do we think about the wrestling changing? Like, the state of the wrestling business right now?
It's to be honest with you, it's not changing. Like, this is me speaking of someone who's been in it since as soon as they left school. Like, it hasn't changed. What's happened is the same thing that happened when the internet happened. Everybody just knows a little bit more. That's my opinion. I generally don't think anything's changed, even after the floodgates were opened and everybody knows everything. Nothing's changed. As soon as money was available, everything went back to the beginning, as far as I'm concerned. But it's like the internet showing us what kayfabe was and open it behind the doors. Unfortunately, it's not the internet. We did it to ourselves. Everybody was stuck inside and we did it to ourselves. And then slowly everything's opening and we're not liking the outside world doesn't like what we already knew. And now we have to act. A, we have to act shocked, and B, we have to actually think about what's right and wrong now. That's what has happened, in my opinion. Nothing's changed.
Wow, that was way stark, and I appreciate it, and that is insight that only you. I think you have. You're a person of color. You're a female of color. You are, come from a British Commonwealth. You live in a different country than of which you were born, and you've wrestled everywhere. So you've seen things that I can't speak to. I have never been involved, and thankfully, I'm kind of glad I haven't gotten involved in both MMA and pro wrestling. Most people think of me as a centerpiece. I kind of hover between both worlds, and I try to keep it cool and everything like that, saying everything good about anyone. I try not to cancel myself or whatever, but I'm me, right? So, with that all being said, my take, here we are. We just had the Brody Lee, the second coming of the Brody Lee Memorial Show happening in his hometown, for AEW of Rochester, New York, or a place where a year before he was actually supposed to make his debut, right? So I think it's a little bit, poetic justice and everything like that. I also, a couple of developments, and I hope you guys know, but if you don't know, I'm not spoiling anything for you, but theoretically speaking, Shane McMahon is no longer with the WWE. Okay?
Spoiler, I didn't know that.
Okay. Yeah, so there's that. And then also, the Bucks and Cody in AEW, as well as Omega, the power has been consolidated to Tony Khan. They no longer have. They're still executives at the company, but no longer do they have creative control over their character and the character's direction. He consolidated all. He is basically the Vince of AEW. He's one dude. Now, of course, he consults with whatever, and I think the way that they did it is one of the Jacksons, whose wife runs the merch, the AEWshop.com. So to justify his pay, in addition to his performer salary, he's helping his wife with the merch, right? Then the other Jackson or Young Buck is basically helping out with BTE, with the guy with the dragon head, the tall guy with he looks like a taller, their friend.
Oh,
Brandon something. Cutler.
thank you.
Yeah, Brandon Cutler. He's a great guy. Every time I talk to him, he's just like so good. Like, and I remember him and his brother when they still had hair. They had almost Baron Corbin's skullet, right? Where it was thinning up top and whatever. It was the only PWG that I've ever gone to. Way back when I was living maybe about 5 minutes away from the old place in Reseda, right? Yeah, I mean, he's always been great. Like I saw him right before AEW started when Cody did a spot after he won the NWA title, and he went to Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, and I was just like, oh my god, NWA title, Cody, the history, him and his dad and whatever, and I drove the fucking 90 minutes to go see it, and yeah, Gatson is, I mean, not Cutler. Cutler's phenomenal. Like he's so cool. But the other Jackson is helping out with that, and then Cody, from what is being said, he's on the outside looking in. He's an executive, but his stuff is more like he's working with Tony with the TV licensing, right? With bringing the Darks and the Dark Elevation and Rampage and I forgot the fucking flagship show. What's the fucking Dynamite? Dynamite. Yeah, Dynamite. There's it's much content, and it's funny because there was a lot of people that were like, "How are they gonna fucking fill out the content?" Like when I had COVID, I used to just put Dark Elevation on the YouTube, and it would just play through. I never knew what the fuck was happening, what week or whatever. The only indicator that I would have is basically the fact that there was crowd versus no crowd. And I was like, okay, this is pre-COVID, whatever, I'm looking for masks and whatever. And that's the only way that I could timestamp it because it would just autoplay. Almost like CM Punk watching fucking Half-Baked when he had his skull caved in. It would just rewind and then he's back, whatever. So he never knew what fucking time. It was just a dark fucking hole. But AEW is not a dark hole. And that's at a time where I'm watching now no WWE. New Japan, the Indies, I'm going back in Fierce Females. Like, I'm going back in fucking, the German Federation. I'm sending BigFemVader some of her old matches, and I was like, what do you think? Blah, 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 and here's what I think, whatever. Like, my love for wrestling has never been stronger, right? Maybe when I was a kid and renting the videos and fucking, messing up the spools and my parents would have to buy it, and when the new copy of Mania 10 came in, I would fucking buy that again ad nauseum. But it's probably as strong, right? And I don't need the WWE to fill my wrestling deal. I have a Shayna Baszler fucking, chalkline jacket back here. Not only because I feel like it's an incredible piece of art, but here is a female that's trained by Josh Barnett and Billy Robinson in the WWE, and it's a female. That's fucking great. It's fucking great. So I'll rock this shit all day. But yeah, and I kind of wish Kris Kanyon was here for this because he would fit in, especially I didn't know how close the Bucks were or Brian Cage was to Kanyon. I know Kanyon did a lot of California indies towards the end of his life and career, but I didn't know the relationship. And I know for a fact, look at what AEW has done for Dean Malenko and Arn Anderson and how many, Jerry Lynn. There's so many guys and girls, the Serena Deeb between NWA and NWA and AEW, right? She's probably one of the best, not just women's workers, but workers there is in wrestling today, and recognized as such. Oh yeah, and guess what? When she was dealing with addiction, where was her help? Oh yeah, they fired her. Right. Cool. That was bad for business, right? She's in straight edge society, and she's coming in drunk and loaded. But it was cool for Sean. Michael Sean Hickenbottom. Google that. Yeah, we went from the heart. We got the Heartbreak Kid. Yeah, we got the Heartbreak Kid, and the Heart Attack Kid. Right, teaching us all to cross chop,
No.
crotch chop,
No.
as youngins. Suck it. Remember, we all did
I
it.
know. Now, I flash back to my school days. And I'm just like, now that's so wrong. Like, if a child came up to my child and did that, no.
Be a star, though. Connor's cure. And nothing against the charities, right? Nothing against the deal, but you're talking out of both sides of your ass. And it's just like, we want you to be as free as you want to be, but then openly support a particular president. That's also in your Hall of Fame.
But then even the preach of freedom, it's like within the documentary, they mention the Boy George segment. Now, I remember watching that and literally, actually, as a child, as a teenager, wetting myself laughing because it was funny. But again, not knowing his backstory and now replaying those chair shots and everything that happened, it's just like, A, it was highly unnecessary. B, the simple fact that they told him to camp up his accent was even worse. Make his lisp even more pronounced than it was to make him sound that way, because what Kanyon had wouldn't be classed as a lisp, I personally think. Just a slight speech impediment, like just slightly. But it was hardly noticeable. He could promo fine.
Look at Cody and Swagger, or Jake Hager.
Look at Dusty.
Exactly. Right? And Steve Tatum says Adam drinks and knows things. LOL, great cup of coffee. Actually, I think it was a spot of tea in an Oasis mug. In an Oasis mug. You see this? Hell yes. So don't go away, is what I'm saying. And with Serena Deeb, they made her shave her head 100%. Like, what the fuck, right? So, it's just weird, the stances like people take, right? And it's not just pro wrestling, right? But here's the thing. If you think of a major MMA or pro wrestling promotion in your head, whatever you think that major organization is, they all skew, the powers that be, they all skew hard in the paint right wing. Right? And I'm not saying this is out of school. It's public record which, presidential candidate that Chris Jericho, under his given name, or Nick and Matt Massey, right? They donated to. Or Coney Khan's father donated to, right? Dana White, kind of preaches of inclusion and everything, but spoke for Trump. President Trump, former President Trump. He did win the fucking deal. So this is not my president. We heard it with Obama. Like, they're your president, and if you fucking, don't like it, just vote.
You voted.
Yeah. I didn't vote for either one of them, so just so you know, total disclosure. Didn't vote for Hillary either. I could say it now. Yeah, right, exactly. She's over in an undisclosed location, parts unknown.
Yes.
But with that all being said, I think I did. It was a run. I think Sanders, Tulsi Gabbard, Dr. Jill Stein, because there was a primary that happened, and then one didn't make it, so I went Jill Stein in one, and then Tulsi Gabbard the other. So I voted for women. They weren't fucking the atrocious choice of Hillary Clinton, and look at the Clintons. It's not great. S- yeah. So with that all being said, right? Dana White admonishes Trump and whatever, and saying yes, almost in the same instance of WWE, right? With Mania, I think was it 5 and 6, were at Trump Taj Mahal, right? And some of the early UFCs were at Trump Taj Mahal because that was the only place that whatever, and they got a personal invite from Trump to fucking play there because Trump saw money in it, right? Well, about 5 years later, Trump is the money man for this MMA promotion called Affliction. You remember those T-shirts that everybody used to wear with the skulls and the fucking Affliction. You're still around. Shout out to Affliction. I know people who work there. I know people who are sponsored by them. Shout out to Affliction. But when Affliction wanted to start an MMA fucking company in opposition of the UFC, guess who's there? Fucking Donald J. Trump. And all of this is revisionist history because now they're buddy buddy. Right? Like, Trump wanted to take Dana out at a time where the UFC wasn't doing well. Combate Americas, right? Or now Global, right? Where Thunder Rosa and Sexy Star fought. Alberto Del Rio fought Tito Ortiz in that fight. Well, Combate Americas, right? They had just touted a male to female transgender fighter, right? Fighting a 0-1 fighter from France that hadn't fought in 7 years.
Oh.
In one of the worst MMA fight. I've seen a lot of MMA, both on the TV and screens and in person live. I've been honored to do such a thing. I've seen better fights at amateur. I've seen better fights at a fucking bar down the road between hipsters over the last thing of kombucha. Right? Yeah. So, kombucha mushroom people, as a System of a Down says. Yes. So, with that all being said, that was on a Friday night. And they're all like, yes, equality, whatever, right? And then the very next night is the Triller fight, and they're hobnobbing with Donald J. Trump and Tito Ortiz. Okay. The good brother Chris Klaus says, another great show, according to Woods. That's more because of Ayesha Raymond, not for me. And
Hi.
I love kombucha, says Chris Klaus, who is a talented streamer, retired MMA fighter. He's all bits of kick-ass in front of the show. So thank you for joining in on Twitch. But yeah, this is where we are, and it's just this rife hypocrisy. But I thank wrestling because I kind of see, like, it made me understand politics. It made me understand comedy. It made me understand art, right? Because, it's the fucking thing. A piece of coal without pressure. The ones, if you're a bad child that Santa gives you in place of presents. Well, you put some pressure on that motherfucker, it becomes a diamond. And the shit that nobody wants is the thing that your mom is adorned with. If your dad, or even if she works and treats herself, right? It's all the connotations, right? It's heel and face. One of the things that I love about pro wrestling at its core, right? At its core, you get your ass, if you're a baby face, you get your ass kicked 364 days out of the year by your foe. Dastardly fucking tactics, weapons, managers, heaters, blah, 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 other fucking bad guys, other good guys, whatever. But you never really get your big fucking comeuppance until this one day. Biggest stage, grandest stage of them all. You get to fucking tackle your foe. And all of that 364 days worth of fucking sorrow and pain and promos and t-shirts and venues and not seeing your family, what have you, it all makes sense for this moment because you topple your foe, and usually your kind of return on investment is you get this big shiny fucking gold belt that also signifies not only did you topple your foe, but you're the best in the world, at least recognized by your company you're working for. right? Could there be a better value creation example of life, right? It's the very dream that, some multi-level marketing fucking schemes are selling you on. Some faiths are selling you on. Some jobs are selling you on. The promise of. And if you fuck up, it's not on them, it's on you. It's pro wrestling 101. But again, why is it him versus a guy like Kris Kanyon, who's infinitely talented, whose moves are still used to this day by some of the top stars in the industry, executives of a company.
Basically ticks boxes and then boxes that shouldn't be in his category. And still,
he has the size, he has the look. I mean, there was a very poignant, and again, this is somebody like who has passed away. I don't want to speak ill of the dead, right? It's somebody that has passed away, and also dealt with this secret, right? The secret of his sexuality, right? And there's never a point where they discuss, was he able to find love, a significant other. It was just the secret, this albatross that he had at his back, the fucking gorilla, in the Samsonite commercial. Yeah, elephant in the room, right? So there was no help for him. And at the time, he's berating and abusing, his manager and his friend who knew his secret. Right? To the extent where, Vandenberg, James Mitchell, is going to shoot Kanyon. Right? But there's no talk of love. Right? And imagine the only person that knows your secret at this point is the person that you're harming.
but sometimes too, like that, I could understand to a degree. Most of the time, if you do have a secret, if there is a mental imbalance, the person that you love the most is the person that you treat the worst. Because to an extent, that they can almost kind of take you at your best and your worst. Because they know you've opened up to them, so you've given them everything, and this is everything. But then also on the other side of you, why would you, like he says, why would you then harm the person why would you harm the only person who knows everything about you? I could literally tell the world. And it's that kind of almost fear of the arrogance. Like he was never afraid that he was going to say anything.
Yeah.
Ever.
Oh, there's that part where it was just like, you're only with me because I can't cut a promo because I got a fucking lisp. Like, I was just like, it was intense.
I know.
I was like, oh, fuck. And to me, like, you might not like the fucking devil gimmick or whatever, but to me, like, James Vandenberg, James Mitchell, he's up there. He's up there with, like, the Heymans and Sherry Martells and Bobby Heenan. Like, if you want a version of Bobby Heenan today, and I told him this when I saw him like a couple years back at Survivor Series, Corey Graves. Yeah. Corey Graves is the closest thing to Heenan as this generation is going to get. And kudos to that guy, because he's a worker. I was watching. I told him, I was like, dude, I've been watching your shit since I saw you in the PWI in like 90s some odd, like 99, 2000, as Sterling James Keaton. And we're like, oh shit. And we were both fucked up. Like, dude, we had way too many fucking drinks at the hotel bar and shit like that. We were fucking up. We were like, hey. He's one of the sweetest people ever. Yeah. But the stories. Like, I was telling my wife, she's like, oh my God, the fucking stories you have. And I was just like, and it's nothing compared to like a Dan Severn or BigFemVader Ayesha Raymond. Like, I'm not technically in the business, but like the things that have been revealed to me is just like fucking wild.
I can believe you.
And the bad stuff, I haven't seen too much bad, but you know, I don't want to harm anybody. That's not what I do. I don't do the what is it? The fucking scandal, fucking breaking news.
You're not going to release the tea.
Wait.
That's what they call it.
That's
You really? No. T is in. Well, I don't know what it stands for. What does it stand for? Somebody, Twitterland, tell me what T stands for. Tell me.
I've seen the meme with the Kermit and whatever, but like
Yeah.
how do you like you went with like people, you did the N word and then you did like you know though not you know THO or you just the U and whatever. And for me it's like I believe I'm dyslexic, right? And I had to go from my mom's British English to honor with the U and whatever, and then get in trouble for the cat story, right, or the cigarette story, right? So, like, and then you guys are throwing this shit at me, like the T. T is this, the fucking idiots, the racist idiots that fucking threw it into Boston Harbor for the fucking like that's the shit that the UK fucking, you know, put the stamps and the tariffs on. That's what I know as tea. So if I spill tea, my aunt T will be probably pretty upset with me. Why the fuck are you going to spill the fucking tea? Why don't you just drink it? Stop being a clumsy asshole. Okay. Right? So fuck this euphemism of spilling the tea. Tea is sacred. Like broadcasting.
Tea is sacred.
Yeah. Like I grew up with, you know, broadcasting and journalism and media, you know, like the WKRP in Cincinnati or news radio with the young Joe Rogan and the late great Phil Hartman and Andy Dick, the Murphy Browns, anything that had to do with radio or whatever because of what my grandfather did in Fiji. So these are sacred fucking things to me. All right? Also, what's sacred fucking things to me? Kris fucking Kanyon, man.
Oh. I just want to see the moonsault one more time. I can't even share the page. Sorry, none of you get to see this.
Yeah. Well, that's the. And if I'm gonna watch Kanyon footage, I'm not doing it. So, have I told you about my own heart thing?
It depends what thing. There are one of many.
So how I won't watch Owen on any WWE promoted channels.
No, you didn't say that.
Okay, so that's kind of my deal, because I don't want knowing how he died, how Martha had to suffer through all this shit, and go against the evil empire where they claim no negligence, right? The kids without a father, whatever. And the fuck, I'm going to go to their channels, their networks, their YouTube pages to watch Owen Hart or My Favorite Mania of Mania 10? No. I'll go to Dailymotion, or I guess Twitch is now fucking doing it and Discord is playing shit. I won't give stuff that involves Owen to the WWE. One view, $1, whatever. If I pay for, and I'm lucky. Like at this point, I would have already canceled the WWE network, and I know that's a big fucking thing every time some dumbass shit that the WWE does or whatever. But like, they're actually saved the fact that they're on Peacock Network, because here in the States there's so many good. Like my wife fell asleep watching Everybody Loves Raymond episodes. You know, that's on the Peacock Network. Other than that, I wouldn't have the fucking network because the WWE is shit. For me. You might think it's great. You might think it's amazing. And that's good. I'm not shitting on you. It's just for me. I just can't.
You're allowed to have your opinion.
Yeah.
Everyone's entitled to it.
Exactly. Like Roman Reigns. I don't get it. How a fucking character takes 8 years to get good.
Has it been 8 years? Oh my gosh. To be fair, we've lost 2 of those years because of this whole stuff.
Yeah.
So it's been 6 years.
6 years. Okay. 6 years. What? And again, we've got Hulu. Let's name up some streaming services, right? We've got Hulu.
Now
Prime.
TV.
Yeah,
Prime.
Prime. YouTube.
Netflix.
Hulu. Dailymotion. Instagram. Facebook. right? Twitter, like like UFC Fight Pass, ESPN Plus, like
Really?
Sky, all of these things, right? If any one of those entertainment options, I mean, we're in a world where fucking International Olympic Committee is going to axe fucking wrestling from the Olympics because it doesn't have enough views. This is literally something that was passed down from the fucking pantheons of fucking ancient Greece. Fuck you. Don't have you cut out wrestling? You don't have Olympics. Right? And I mean, hell, Gabe Stevenson just won an Olympic wrestling medal and he signed with the WWE.
And that's how important it isn't.
Yeah. And I think it's funny because the gal, I guess, I want to call her Sarah because her name is Sarah Menza Stock, right? And I'm like, Sarah Stock is Sarita Dark Angel from Mexico, was a longtime trainer at the Performance Center, right? And then Menza, I'm like, isn't that Kofi's fucking last name? Is she related to Kofi? Like, holy shit. And she, especially when she wore her hair in the fucking little poof balls, and I was like, oh god, she's Kofi's cousin. In my head. But yeah, that's how important it isn't, right? For it to be 8 years for a character to get good, and you're asking your audience to fucking sit and suffer through it, and now it's good. But for me, there's still weird character tropes. Roman Reigns. I don't know if I've seen a Samoan or an Italian name either. Well, maybe Italian, right? Not Reigns, but Roman for sure. Right?
I need someone from Hungary called Roman.
Yeah, right? So, there's that. He's a member of the Shield, right? The Shield's fucking theme music is probably one of the worst, in my opinion, in WWE history. It sounds like if I've had too many burritos in the toilet. Yeah, that's it, right? And then he keeps that. And then the fucking horrible fucking theme. I mean, the gear. His SWAT gear. The first time I saw him, he's got SWAT gear with a feigned bulletproof vest. And he's selling a punch to the chest. Okay? And then it's openly acknowledged, right? Because he has to be acknowledged, right? Well, acknowledge that his cousins, who are twin brothers of Rikishi, called the Usos, which is cousin in Samoan. Okay, follow me? Where they're out of a penitentiary, and this guy's a SWAT guy, and they're supposed to be cool.
Yeah, but brothers. They reach for that just to turn them heel. They're like, what can we do to make a Samoan person bad?
Okay, but that's the shit that I, as a half African descendant slave and half Polynesian, that I've been in. Because Polynesians, when they come here to the States, it's either they're like fresh off the island from the bush. There's another deal that I'm not going to do. But maybe fresh off the boat, maybe. Right? Hey, brah, and speak the island, whatever. Listen to reggae, smoke weed, whatever the fuck, or go to church. If you don't smoke weed, you go to church and you do it all day or whatever. Or you go black. Tongan, Samoans, Fijians, if they don't go straight out, fresh off the boat, whatever, they go black. Marry black women, they just fucking hard in the paint. They gotta out gangster, out tattoo everyone, out shoot everyone, be more gangster, whatever. Right? So not filling the stereotype also fulfilled the stereotype. Their dad was Make a Difference Fatu. After Vince found out he got stabbed, that Vince didn't see the fucking scar when he was a head shrinker. Which again, kind of fucking racist. Yes, but nobody gives a shit because there's small islands that everybody goes on vacation and sneaks their weed in. Even though we have better shit on the island, but we can't use it because we're Gentiles and believe in the Lord.
But the Lord made it. No.
You would think, but I'm just saying. I guess in that instance, it's the devil's lettuce, you know. You know, and again, going back to Roman, right? So again, he's a SWAT guy. That's cousins with the penitentiary too, that are cousins in Samoan, but they're really twin brothers. And then Roman has a move called the drive-by.
Yeah, that was a bit poor taste. What I am surprised of that they didn't like basically like Shaniqua-esque Naomi and then put her with them as well. I was waiting for that.
She's been off TV. Wait for it. Wait for it. It's either that or their little brother, Sepha, who's down in developmental. And he doesn't need to be on fucking developmental too much longer. That dude can go. And again, talk about like amazing fucking stories. 3 years ago, he was stocking groceries at the town Whole Foods where my wife was employed. They were co-workers. He looked after my wife. And then he quits Whole Foods to go to Vegas to train under future stars and his dad. And look at him now. He was there the night where I might have gotten into a fisticuff with one of his brother. He had went up to the room though. You know? But yeah, like I've never been so proud of like that. I can't even tell you and express and articulate how proud I am of that guy. Right? He's done everything. He's ready to go. Don't fucking NXT him. You fucking his brothers NXT and his fucking yeah. With the fucking really weird color bomb. It's the fucking NXT logo looks like a damn gender reveal.
That's what I thought they were going for. That whole let's show everyone that we're diverse, all inclusive, peace, love, and happiness.
I think today's Thursday, so like I think on Monday I watched the first episode of NXT 2.0. If I had just stopped at Imperium winning, I would have been good. Because it was like Rick Steiner's kid was the first match with LA Knight. I hate the fact that they jobbed out LA Knight, Sean Ricker. He's an LA guy, you know, grew up in the Southern California scene and everything like that. And, you know, he was doing that work. And then he becomes Eli Drake and fucking... Like, he's just phenomenal. He's a phenomenal talent. I hate that they use him for it. They could have had anybody else. But they chose him for it. A guy that, again, I think this is his second or third run with the company. And you use him. Okay. So, what are you going to say if... I hope I'm fucking wrong. But Sean Ricker... LA Knight, Eli Drake, or whatever, has an addiction and needs help, and then what are you going to say? Oh, it was his fault? Like you did Kanyon? Like you did Warrior? Like you did Savage? Like you did China? Like Owen? Come on, fuckers. Assume some responsibility. They assume none. Now that's why I get none of my film. During this point, I pledge to not buy any WWE merch. I pledge to not watch any WWE TV, YouTube or otherwise.
He pledges on the pop doll. Which one? Have you got her in nearby?
Yeah, I do. So, they were already in the fucking Amazon package on their way here. Before the fucking Finn Balor deal. I do have I think it's fucking pretty cool. That's Rey Mysterio.
Oh, it looks like a Pokemon.
Yeah. There's a Jerry Lawler one, but that one, it's not so great because, you know, if you read into Jerry Lawler stuff and you're also going like, if you're a fan of Jerry Lawler and then also will like Save Our Children, you might be talking out of both sides of your ass.
Or haven't done a lot of research yet.
Yeah, or you're like, yeah, Jerry Lawler is the king, right? And then they're like, oh, that fucking R. Kelly. You might be a racist. Not excusing what R. Kelly did, but it's the goose and gander thing.
First person in history, by the way, to be solely charged with racketeering. Like, generally, every single person dimed him out and they got immunity. That's what happened. Every single one of his team dimed him out and they got immunity. That's why we'll never know. That's the only way it could happen. But, sorry, Kanyon.
No, you're right though. It's all relative. To me, it's all relative, right? How things can transpire. I just watched. I was telling Ayesha, the Lulu Rich Amazon documentary. We were supposed to, before I got COVID, we were supposed to review Wild Wild Country.
Wild Country.
And there's a lot of the fucking same, like, mentor disciple fucking weirdness, and selling people on a fucking dream. But instead of Eastern organized religion, we got fucking leggings, fucking
accessories.
Tights. Yes.
Accessories.
And we, like towards the end, they would have like hamburger leggings in a woman's crotchal area that looked like the hamburger was open face and it was your lady parts. Or an Eiffel Tower, like whatever, and it was coming out like there was a penis coming out of your leggings. That was the design.
Why do you want these things?
Oh,
I'm worried for humankind.
The startup costs, the lowest membership of the fucking parcels that you can receive of product, 5 G's, but it can go up to 89 US. That's startup cost. And they're telling you, sell your breast milk if you're a nursing mother. Max out your credit cards because it'll all be worth it. And just the same thing that we're hearing out of corporate WWE, right? If it's fucked up, it's all your fault. Even though they're giving you, towards the end, moldy gear. Shit that stinks. You put them on, they rip. And they're like, this is not the same leggings and this is not the same company that I fucking originally whatever. They got more people and then the quality control just got, and there was one person who was like a part of their customer service, right? It was just like at a time where they had 20 fucking lawsuits. This thing called LuLaRoe, right? 20 fucking lawsuits. They hire a fucking company-wide party with all their independent salespeople with Kelly Clarkson.
Was it on a yacht?
No, not this one. There was a lot of yacht parties. To what's one of the there was the only talking head of African descent of the slave here in the States, right? Black, right? She got hired on, not to spoil too much of it, but she got hired on, right, as a customer service onboarding specialist. So when you got the 5 to 10 G's for the startup costs, she basically welcomed you in and processed your fucking money and sent you the product, right? When she found out how much money people were making, she's like, I'm on the wrong side of it, and then quit, whatever. But also before it, she was like, I'm looking all cute. I got, I think, Chanel or Gucci or something, right? Some fucking name brand, right? High end. The fucking lady who owns the company looks at her and goes, you're not wearing any of our product. Go change. Her first fucking day.
Wow.
Right? And then, like, for all of their top earners, they take them on a fucking cruise and shit like that. And they were asking who went, like, whatever, right? And the girl was like, yeah, I've been asked to go. And she's like, I'm sorry, white people, I love you. But I can't trust. These are her words, right? I can't trust being on a boat out at sea with y'all. I love you, but I might go missing.
Missing. She
Yeah.
got drunk and fell over the edge. No,
Yeah.
no, they
Oh,
decided.
that's never happened on a fucking Carnival cruise line. Yeah. So that's it, man. I hope people take this away, right? I'm so thankful for Darkside of the Ring. And as we're recording this on a Thursday, tonight, the fucking FMW with Atsushi Onita and Hayabusa. I really want to check that out. First off, Onita doesn't do many interviews, especially in English. He's not speaking English. He's got subtitles. It was almost like when Anoki got interviewed for the fucking Collision in Korea last season, right? They're not doing very many interviews. Anoki's like what, 70, mid 70s. Onita's probably in his 60s. Onita has just revamped during the COVID. Oh, do you know that Onita is reviving FMW?
Yeah, that's why it's nice to hear you talk about it. That's why.
Okay, so did you see what happened in the last show
Yeah.
with the fucking smoke? Yeah. Oh yeah. It's phenomenal. I mean, it's phenomenal how people can not change. How Vince McMahon decided all of the fucking people that have died on his watch, or because of the schedule that he set forth for his wrestlers. There's blood on his hands. There's blood on
It's just
Linda's
wait.
hand.
Blood on everybody's hands.
Yeah, us were watching it and just going, Kurt Hennig, Randy Savage, Sherry Martel, Kendall Wimenden Jr.,
Luna.
Chris Candido,
Luna.
Luna,
Luna.
Luna, which that's going to be a Dark Side of the Ring episode.
I know. Don't. I can't. I don't. That's gonna be like Owens and Pillman's for me. It's gonna be a one. I'll watch it once, but we'll watch it again.
Oh, I can't watch. Dark. Like, love what you guys do, but I'll watch like the confidentials after, and I'm not like the ones that they shoot with either Jericho or Conrad Thompson at ECW Arena, or somewhere in Georgia. Not the kind of this format. What they do, I don't watch those. Like, it didn't get, like, after the Montreal screw job, they had Brett on it, right, during the pandemic and whatever, and he didn't give, and maybe it's just because of Brett, and he's told the story over and over.
1,000 times.
Yes, a million times at this point. I don't want to hear about the fucking Montreal screw job again. Okay, Brett might have been whiny. Sean's always an asshole. Vince is definitely an asshole. That's pretty much it.
You didn't learn anything new. Oh.
No, right? So I watched 15 minutes that I didn't get back. Arguably one of my favorite fucking, you know, people in wrestling. The reason why I wouldn't be in fucking combat sports today if I hadn't seen Macho and Brett in '87 on Saturday night's main event. You know? But did they have their faults? Of course. And that's people. That's people. But the fact, like, I don't present myself as holier than thou. I'm not holy at all. I'll be the first fucking person to tell you. I am fucking diametrically flawed. Diametrically. Right? But the thing about it is, I can own up for it. When Vince doesn't and just takes money hand over fist, when careers and lives and the children of these people are irreparably harmed. You have fucking Kurt Hennig pass away. Now, of course, he was in Impact Wrestling, but a lot of the fucking habits that he fucking had, he developed in the WWE because of that schedule. He might have dabbled in it when he was cool Kurt Hennig, tagging with Starship Coyote Scott Hall. Yeah, that was really a fucking thing. All right. Thank you, Vern Gagne. Rest in peace. But it really got developed. His demons, just like Michaels, just like Razor, just like a lot of these guys and girls, because of that fucking schedule, right? Then you get Kurt's son, Joe. You tell him, be like his dad. Until he gets to the fucking main roster.
Can't have his name.
Michael McGillicuddy. There's only two fucking times I heard McGillicuddy in my life. It was on an I Love Lucy episode.
Oh yeah.
And then fucking Beulah McGillicuddy, Tommy Dreamer's now wife's persona in ECW.
Don't forget Police Academy. That's what my brain.
Oh yeah, okay. So number 4. Yeah, so 4. So yeah. Then Michael McGillicuddy was the 4th one. Then we were all supposed to forget, and he get repackaged as Curtis Axel, a Paul Heyman guy, taking again his dad, Curtis Hennig, right, and his grandfather, Larry the Axe Hennig, as a part of a tag team that we don't have footage on because there's nothing fucking recorded during those days. But Harley Race and Larry the Axe Hennig were a fucking tag team going against the fucking West Texas Outlaws of Murdoch and fucking Dusty. We get little footage of that. And most people are like, oh, Shield is the best faction in history.
Who says that should be shot?
WWE. So go, Stanford. That way. It's the place where Linda failed Senate twice. That place.
Dangerous Alliance. Sorry.
Yes. Dangerous Alliance and Heart Foundation. The latter. Those are my 2 favorite factions. I didn't say they were the best. Those are my 2 favorites.
Yeah.
That's
Dangerous Alliance and Horsemen. I'm sorry. And the Horseman with Nancy. It has to have Nancy in it. If it hasn't got Nancy in it, it doesn't count.
I agree. Fifi, no, don't bring your Fifi the maid here. Yeah. Wonder where she ended up, huh? No, man. And that's the thing. People are like, oh, they're not gonna let Roman fail because he's a Paul Heyman guy. Yeah, it worked for Punk, didn't it? Worked for fucking Curtis Axel, didn't it? Worked for fucking Joe Hennig. Oh, well, that's Joe Hennig. It worked for Cesaro, didn't it? Worked for Ricochet. Right?
Yeah, but he's a Paul Heyman guy by default. He's not a Paul Heyman.
Right,
Paul
right.
Heyman hasn't personally endorsed him. Like
Right, exactly. But again, the 3 that I mentioned in Punk, right? Paul was so persistent at a time. Now they tolerate Paul for whatever reason, right? Because they already let Bischoff go with that big fucking announcement. Bischoff and Heyman are coming in to run the 2 major brands and and they get rid of Bischoff for like, what, not even 90 days? Right? So you got Heyman. And now Heyman's more tolerable to you. Or maybe he fucking just leveled himself out. Age will do that to you. Right? I'm all like, Heyman petitioned to Punk when he was in OVW. Okay? Then, obviously, we get to, whatever. I don't know who's first or whatever, but it's obviously Brock. Then Axel. Cesaro. And then Punk again before those guys. Right? So, out of... who's still there? Out of Paul Heyman guys. Cesaro. Who got absolutely nothing from the Allegiance. People are like, oh my God, John Cena and Roman Reigns when they were having their feud. Oh my God, they're the top merch sellers. I heard that from people within the company. I was like, yeah. How many fucking SKUs do they have? How many pieces of fucking merch? To quote Office Space, how many pieces of fucking flair do they have on their vests? Okay. That same person was at fucking SummerSlam in Vegas. And they were like, hey, DM me or Venmo me if you want some merch before the fucking arena opens. Cool. Can I get a Nakamura shirt? There's no Nakamura shirt. I thought everybody had the chance to make as much money as Cena and Roman and contend for them in the the merchandise department. I guess not, huh? It's the CM Punk pipe bomb promo all over again. It hasn't fucking changed.
I said that already.
And I will continue to say it because it's done. And I'm not even, most people are like, oh, because when Vince dies. No. Well, what's going to happen? You're going to be jonesing for these days because he's going to have one of those, what is it? Those dead man's clauses. You know that deal, right?
What do you mean?
So at the time of my death, this happens. I think it's called Dead Man's Switch, Dead Man's Clause, whatever. And might not exist where you guys are. But like, if in the wake of my death, like it's something that happens literally when the fucking plug gets pulled. And it happens. Like this house gets sold, this whatever, this money is hidden, whatever the fuck. I implore this person to be my executor, like whatever. That's a fucking dead man's clause or switch. So I believe Vince's dead man's clause or switch is selling the company. He dies. Vince is not, Steph is not getting it. Shane is not getting it. Trips is not getting it. Kevin Dunn's not getting it. Bruce Pritchard isn't getting it. It just goes over
Disney. No, I'm joking.
I was. You took the words out of my mouth.
Disney.
And it's gonna leave Peacock Network or NBC Universal to figure that shit out because obviously they sold the rights and everything to Peacock, which is a competing company. This is the reason why fucking Fox is mad at them now. Because they're promoting fucking NBC Universal's, their product on NBC Universal's channels on Fox Broadcasting. It's like a fucking Trojan horse. Encouraging people to not watch this show, go to the big show. Not Paul White, no BS in AEW. But I would like for you guys, if you're watching Fox or, what is it, USA?
Yeah.
Head over to the other place. They get paid more. But not everybody can go. Apparently they took a pass on Buddy Murphy. Which I'm like, you took a pass on Buddy Murphy, but you all elite Leo Rush? Okay. Let's see. He'll be there 6 months. He was supposed to be retired.
Yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, that's actually very true.
And again, where is his help? Right? Either he's very strong in his will, or the fact that he might have some mental stuff there. He's the next WWE performer. Why don't they get him help rather than just firing him? WWE goes through these things, right? Where they fill quotas. All right? Willie Mack is in developmental. He gets released. Almost the next week, they get Samoa Joe. Athletic, ethnic, fat guy.
But it's still, it's Joe though. You could say that he was almost gonna. He was supposed to be there ages ago.
I know for a fact, nothing against him. As long as Ricochet and Kofi are there, what is the need for Chris Bay? Skinny, athletic black guys. They've got two. Until one or both of them are gone, what have you. Like they do this. Fucking the whole Emelina thing. They give it to Tenelle Dashwood, right? And then she's not right for it. In their eyes. I thought the promos were great.
And enter Eva Marie for some reason.
Wait, I think, was it Eva Marie or was it Lana? It was Eva Marie.
Maybe interchangeably
No,
both.
no, it was Eva Marie, and then she got featured in Endeavored. Then they gave it to Lana when she split from Rusev.
Uh,
Yeah. They didn't even fucking change. When Brodus Clay got featured in Endeavored, they literally fucking gave that shit to Xavier Woods. Pre-New Day, Xavier Woods. Didn't change a fucking thing. Gave him the funicodactyls of Naomi and Cameron. Didn't change a fucking thing. They just went into the box of gimmicks. But Kanyon is subject to the fucking lashing that you gave him publicly by two of the biggest stars, not just your company, but the industry has ever produced, and Ric Flair and John Cena. And especially the one with Ric Flair hurting the most. Rod Stewart.
It just didn't have to be said.
Right. And again, people are like...
was unnecessary.
Yeah. So, everybody's calling for Flair. And that's justifiably so. Cool. But I'm waiting. It's clobbering time. Let's go for John Layfield and Michael Sean Hickenbottom. They can't be that insulated that they're absolutely just Teflon Dons to this whole thing. You want misogyny? You got misogyny. You want rampant Use? Fucking people over? Bullying? Be a star, right? Fucking JBL, Mauro Ranallo, who I regard as one of the greatest, not just combat sports announcers, but one of the greatest of all time. And especially the fact that the things that I watch in MMA and pro wrestling, he loves those two things. He's bipolar. Open with it. Bipolar Rock and Roller is a documentary that you could get on Showtime's YouTube for free. And they sat back while fucking JBL mercilessly hazed them. And you want to talk about quotas? You want to talk about quotas, right? He goes down to NXT. Mauro goes down to NXT. Does a phenomenal job. He chooses not to renew his contract. He chose. He didn't get future endeavored. He chose. Who do they bring in? Have you watched WWE lately?
You're gonna names have slipped my mind.
Jimmy fucking Smith. The fucking cornerstone of Bellator MMA. One that Joe Rogan personally endorsed to come to the UFC. Does Rogan's podcast. 3 days later, it's announced Jimmy Smith is with the UFC. Stays for 1 year. He gets UFC's version of Future Endeavors because they want more fighters, ex-fighters, to be a part of their panels. And who picks him up? WWE. And it was a weird one because I think it was an NXT takeover. And it was Jimmy Smith, somebody else, and Mickey James. Those are like on-air, like fucking auditions.
Oh yeah, that was actually true. No,
because Mickey gets Future Endeavor the week after. And I didn't think she did a bad job. Again, the quota, the MMA pro wrestling guy. They get rid of Mauro. They bring in Jimmy Smith. Box of gimmicks. But the best he got is for Kanyon, a little innovator of offense. Boy George. And getting fucking unprotected chair shots.
But it's just the one. The rest of them are actually to the body. It's that one chair shot to the head. You just like, that did not need to happen.
No, not at all.
At all.
And again, how was Kanyon insulated, but Pat Patterson wasn't? Okay? They pick and choose who they want to help. Just like any other fucking corporation. I used to work at a place where the head of HR was married to the product developer whose brother worked in tech support. Going back to the HR lady, her mom is part of the PR team. That's all in one company. One corporate office that maybe had 80 people.
Oh, that would have been a headache. I would have got fired in the first week.
I lasted 8 months.
Oh, it's better than me. I would have got fired in the first week.
Well, the reason why, because one of my coworkers is a fucking, he did jujitsu. That's how I fell into jujitsu. Right? And we'd go for lunch, do jujitsu for an hour. So, especially as the company's getting bought out and the uncertainty, the last 2 months, I just showed up to work to go to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And at that point, that was the highest fucking, money I'd made, right? And shared a corner office and all that shit. I mean, the people that I shared a corner office with were incredible. Actually, total disclosure, might have been somebody related to the missus.
So there you go. You already had a connection.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, it was so weird, right? Because I was working for a hardware store as a department manager, and at that point, the most money that I'd made. So I went to the whatever, and I was like, "This is the highest I've ever fucking corporate, whatever. Like, this is way too much, whatever." Well, when I left, they beat my my hourly pay that I was making at the hardware store by $3. And I was like, and it was only a fucking 3 to 5 minute drive from the office to my now former employer to give in my notice. Right? Before I had even got out from giving my notice, they upped it another $2. Not even me doing anything. And then I fucking left the hardware store, went back, and signed the paper. And then 5 minutes the other way is the jiu-jitsu. And I signed up for jiu-jitsu. Because I can afford it. Yeah, because I can afford it now. Yeah, man. But again, these are opportunities that are afforded to me in this day and age, And unfortunately, for whatever reason, could be because of nobody understood his bipolar kind of episodes. Could have been like he was just the wrong gay. What is the the Hulk Hogan promo? You're the wrong gay guy.
Yeah.
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 Right. So, I'm afforded these opportunities. That's why I'm podcasting. Like, that's why I'm sharing the stories and also encouraging anybody that wants to do this. Like my Twitter feed and my social media feeds. Yeah, there are a lot of my shit, but there are a lot of other people's shit. Because these are works of art. These are orally translated and visually translated teachings that could help somebody out in a low point in their life. Give them some reprieve from all the shit that they're going through. There's hopefully never going to be a paywall to access this content that I produce. I'm taking sponsors, but, because I want it to be accessible for everyone. Now it could be like Rogan with Spotify, comes in, whatever, big chunk of money, and there's commercials every 30 minutes of a 2-hour podcast. Those things just happen. Right? But, because I want people to kind of Hopefully they gain something from this, and never from me. I'm never a, like if I'm your your logical one. If you're seeking advice from me,
Run,
run.
run,
Bray Wyatt voice, run.
run.
Yeah, that's it. But it's folks like BigFemVader Ayesha Raymond,
Right.
any other guests that I have on, and I bring the most intriguing people because I'm intrigued too. Like I was literally watching the fucking Mania Classic because our mutual friend, I was showing like, oh, because my wife was like, oh, how do you know Zeta? And I was like, whatever. And then I see you march out, and I was like, you look the most unique out of that whole deal. You and then a chubby Reina Gonzalez with the half deal, right? I didn't see anything in what's her face, Rhea. I'd seen her work or whatever, but just her presentation there was just like whatever. Now she's a fucking star. But I also can't decipher Rhea Ripley's character and Tony Thornton's character. Right? I don't think those two will be in the same place at the same time at any other WWE tenure on camera. Again, Shayna Baszler's there. Mercedes Martinez gets featured and endeavored. And anybody that says there's no quota, again, we can agree to disagree, but I've presented what I feel is a very logical, concise argument. So, yeah,
That's right.
I know. So, anywho, yeah, Kris Kanyon, rest in peace. I hope on the wherever you end up or ended up, you found more peace there than you did on Earth because you suffered. Some of it was self-inflicted, some of it not. But as we're seeing with John Jones, rather than people lambasting him, this is somebody who absolutely needs help. Not being in one of the regarded as one of the greatest combat sports athletes of all time, and it fucks up every time. You're the runt of the litter with two NFL Super Bowl champion brothers. How does it feel when you have a big fucking match and people are on you and your brothers are saying, I'll whoop his ass? Can't be very good. That's trauma. That's mental duress. And that's just the surface. I don't know John Jones. And from people, I know people within his gym in Albuquerque. He's one of the hardest working guys. But even that is not enough. So I'm just saying, help. No criticism. And I criticize a lot. I say my dislike for Roman Reigns, the character. I'm not saying Joanna Wahi. I'm not saying the Fatu brothers. They're Polynesian. I'm Polynesian. That's actually literally the fucking words that I said. When actually one of them said to me when I introduced myself and the whole thing got in fisticuffs with the drunk one. And that fateful night of Survivor Series. I want them to do well. They're there. Because they're a WWE product. They might not do as well on the indies. Not being WWE guys. So I'm just saying, Steven Tatum says, another decision the makers want you to call it, not to call it a belt. Well, I'm done with what Vince wants me to do. Right? That's the DX song. I'm tired of what you tell me to do. What's a belt? I forgot. Yeah, exactly. There we go. And Graham Farrell, good brother. Hey, Woods, long time no speak. Hi, Ayesha.
Alright.
Shout out to Graham. Hope you're well. Tremendous. Man, repping that ICW, man. It's a championship wrestling. Hell yes, the beanie in his profile picture. And QT Gang. Oh, wait. He's wearing the ICW with his... It's the beanie. Yeah. Yeah, and then QT gang, my cousin Mia out in Georgia with her fiance. Hope you and the family are well.
Hello.
Hope I got an invite to the wedding, but I give you reasons why you don't want to be associated with me. So 10 points. I respect your decision. Either way, yeah, 100%. But speaking of things to be understood, for people that want to understand a little bit about BigFemVader, Ayesha Raymond, and Fierce Females Glasgow, I mean, how are things shaping up? I mean, shows are opening up here. What say you over there?
What say us over there? I can't wait till everyone can see exactly what the Fierce Females Dojo has in store and has to offer Scotland, the world, and the universe. You can find everything at Fierce Females Wrestling or Fierce Females Glasgow, or type in, wait, I always get this wrong, it's there. Type in Big Fem Vader to every social media platform you can possibly find, and you get this wonderful Warner Brothers DC character face. I am a DC character, it's true. Very true.
There might be a graphic in that got created that might echo those very same sentiments.
That's very
Right?
true. Also.
Yes, absolutely.
Coming soon.
Coming soon. And Graham Farrow says, good, thank you. Hope you two are good. Absolutely. Even better that you're here with us, Graham. I hope you and your lovely lass are amazing, doing amazing. You know, just speaking. What they always say at Christmas, heaping good tidings to you and all of your crew. I'm going to say it because I don't really dig Christmas. So there you go.
Well, Halloween is coming up. You just jumped like a holiday.
I don't
Anyway.
like. Here's the point, because my son Owen just had his birthday on Tuesday. My wife will have hers on October 11th. From October 11th to January 1st, I wish we could just skip it.
Why is it?
My parents died in December.
Well, but skip it. Remembrance.
I know. I really should. 8 years after my mom passed away, and it'll be 11 years after my dad passed away. I should really get better at this, but it still stings. Christmas carols, it's all a fucking traumatic memory because that's what I heard in the halls of the fucking hospitals as they're about to bag up my dad, or my mom's last walk before she donates her organs. So, yeah. I'm just saying. Hate to fuck it up for the rest of you guys. If you did, Mazel Tov. Yeah, I'll be celebrating
Happy
Festivus.
Kwanzaa.
Yeah, Festivus for the rest of us, right? And QT Gang says, yes, you do. You know you're invited, 100%. I give good gifts. That's my only thing. And I drink a lot, which might be a wash. Whatever give and gift, I might take and drink. And I'm never an asshole about it.
Wow.
I just need to know that above the ballroom is my hotel room.
Or at least next door, within a stumbling distance. I understand.
Otherwise, I'm fucking falling asleep on the dance floor.
Do that too.
Yeah, absolutely. Fuck it. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm According to Woods. Hopefully you're subscribed to the podcast. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this fine piece of content that we just provided to you for free. So with that all being said, According to Woods across the board, I think it's Adam K. Woods on Twitter, but if you put it According to Woods, you'll find me. According to Woods, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch is where you get the main podcast. According to Woods on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If I'm not podcasting, it's a lot of dumb shit memes. And when I mean a lot, there's a meme that I know of a kid, kind of like opening the fucking sink faucet and pouring it into another kid's mouth. It's like me, memes. That I just fucking open the fucking faucet and just, the memes just kind of fall out like water from a faucet.
What's up?
Assuming you're not in an impoverished country that doesn't have a water faucet. And if you don't, I'm sorry, but also why do you have the internet if you don't have water? You're the only folk that I can excuse for not watching the podcast. If you don't have water, you shouldn't have the interwebs.
Yeah.
Theoretically speaking.
Yeah. I am sorry for those who are, irrigationally challenged.
As I have water bottle. Oh, I'm a horrible human being.
Yes, and you're waving it in their faces. Okay, everyone unsubscribe right now. He's an uncompassionate
No!
human.
I'll donate a bottle.
For all of you, I don't even have a water bottle. For all of you who don't have water, by the way, you're all dicks, and I have water. Just make sure you know.
Was that a heel turn? Did we just do a heel turn? Holy
Yeah.
shit.
I've always been a heel. The problem is everyone just likes me beating people up. That's the problem.
Yes! Yes! That's literally what, like, the first, you didn't have to answer a fucking DM from me. I saw you slam somebody on their fucking head. I was like, ooh, cool. And now we're friends. I love her. I love her significant other. Like, it's great. We're great. It's all great. It's all fucking great. Yeah, man.
Yes.
So you guys be great. Great. I can't even spell it. Say it, spell it. I don't know. But you guys be great. Fucking kick ass in your day or night, whatever, wherever the hell you are. Yeah, subscribe to the podcast. Everything that Ayesha's doing, everything that we do week to week. If you don't believe me, believe her. And I don't know why you wouldn't. Here's our mutual friend, pro wrestler Zeta Zhang.
Hey, this is Zeta Zhang. Make sure you subscribe to According to Woods.